Hello everyone, this is Maki. Do you like Brag Gundams? Maybe the Titans, Gundam Mark II, or maybe the Unicorn Gundam unit, Tubanshi. The Crossbone Gundam X2 is pretty cool too, right? Today we are going to take a closer look at the RAIDER Gundam. This mobile suit appears in Gundam Seed as one of the enemy units. It shows up in the second half of the story and really gives Kira and Aslan a hard time. The pilot is Clodo Bueru. He was prepared by the Blue Cosmos, an organization with a strong hatred for the coordinators. A person who has acquired abilities beyond those of a coordinator through physical modification, drug enhancement and brainwashing while remaining natural. There is a scene in Sea Destiny where Athran, after looking at Clodo's data, remarks, "He is so young." In the society the coordinators live in, they are considered adults at 15. So Athran's shock at how young Clodo is could mean that Clodo is about 10 years old. Clodo is one of the boosted man-humans who have undergone intensive drug treatment, special training, body modification, and psychological conditioning to enhance their performance as mobile suit pilots, essentially turning them into tools of war. He's lost most of his human emotions, and his mechanical game-like approach to combat is both sad and terrifying. Now, out of nowhere, I'd like you to join the assault on the Orb Union. Orb has been cooperative with the Earth Alliance. To fight the devils of space, humanity on Earth must unite and cooperate. Let's save the citizens of Orb from their foolish leaders who refuse to cooperate with the Earth Alliance. You are about to take part in the glorious Orb Liberation Operation. Press the subscribe button to activate the RAIDER Gundam. Press the like button to ignite the engines and tap the bell button to transform. Let's fight together for a blue and pure world. The Earth Alliance's new GATX series mobile suits were perfected as extremely powerful weapons. However, after 4 of the GATX series units were stolen by Zack, the Earth Alliance's H3 was wiped out. The only GATX unit that the Earth Alliance managed to operate, the Strike Gundam, fought against the 4 GATX series units and survived many battles. Despite unexpected events, the effectiveness of the GATX series was proven in actual combat. Based on the combat data gained from the use of the GATX series, the Earth Alliance began to develop new mobile suits. One of the prototypes, the Strike Gundam equipped with the IO Striker Pack, specialized in high mobility combat. However, it was concluded that it lacked the power to fight airborne forces such as Zack's under Earth's gravity, as it couldn't fly in that environment. The Earth Alliance turned its attention to the X-300 variable frame of the Aegis Gundam and decided to develop a mobile suit specifically designed for aerial combat. This led to the creation of the GAT-333 RAIDER Gundam. Since its frame structure was significantly altered from the space combat-oriented Aegis Gundam, it cannot be considered a direct successor. However, one of its notable features is the simplified transformation mechanism, which allows it to transform faster than the Aegis Gundam. While the development of these new mobile suits was underway, the Azrael Foundation, a support group for Blue Cosmos, was planning to procure its own military forces. Technically, this was a move by the National Defense Conglomerate, led by the Azrael Foundation, to gain greater economic advantage through the development of new products. They obtained the GAT GH-333 Raider Gundam before its official deployment, and made modifications to develop the GATX-370 Raider Gundam. To distinguish between the GAT-333 and the GATX-370, many sources refer to the GAT-333 as the Raider full spec. Unlike the prototype units such as the Calamity Gundam and the Forbidden Gundam, the Raider Gundam was a mobile suit that had been custom-released from an officially adopted unit. However, when Malta's Rail launched the invasion of Orb, he stated that he was also promoting the new model, suggesting that the X-370 was intended to be marketed to the Earth Alliance as a new mobile suit. Although the weapons of the officially approved version are quite different, many other parts have been modified. In particular, large engines were added to the legs. The official Raider Gundam already had enough air mobility to conduct surprise attacks on enemy bases from outside the atmosphere, and the X-370 had its propulsion increased even further. The shoulder thrusters were also replaced with a more complex structure, combining 3 thrusters instead of the simpler design. This modification was based on the abilities of the boosted man who had undergone body modifications. With these enhancements, the Raider Gundam gained air combat capabilities that could rival the Freedom Gundam, which was considered the strongest mobile suit in Cosmic Era 71. Although it was a team effort, the X-370 managed to push the Freedom Gundam to the brink of defeat. Like the Calamity Gundam and the Forbidden Gundam, the Raider Gundam was equipped with trans-phase armor, giving it extremely high defensive capabilities. Even after receiving a direct kick from the Freedom Gundam, it was able to continue fighting without any problems. The primary role of the Raider Gundam was to approach and attack enemy bases or weapons at close range, and then retreat. Its weapons were designed for close combat. In addition, the Raider Gundam sometimes took on the role of transporting allied mobile suits using its powerful propulsion system. It could fly at the same speed as the Forbidden Gundam, even with the Calamity Gundam mounted on its back. It could also carry a mobile suit by suspending it from below. There are cases where it used its large claws to carry the Calamity Gundam. It isn't clear whether the Raider Gundam could carry mobile suits on both the top and bottom at the same time. Let's take a look at the terrifying weapons of the Raider Gundam. First of all, we have the machine guns. There is an 80mm machine gun mounted on the nose of the mobile armor form, and 2 76mm machine guns mounted on its shoulders. These weapons give the high-speed mobile armor form a powerful attack capability. Designed primarily for aerial combat against units like the Din, these machine guns also pack enough destructive power to quickly take down mobile suits. Next is the Master short-range plasma cannon. Mounted on the Raider's claws, this beam weapon is designed for rapid fire, so its range is relatively short. However, in Cosmic Era 71, beam weapon defense technology was still in its infancy, making this a highly effective weapon. It's designed for close combat, especially when the claw is used to capture an enemy. It can also fire beam saber from its muzzle. The name Master comes from Master, the supreme deity in Zoroastrianism, responsible for delivering the final judgment at the end of the world and separating good from evil. This may reflect Blue Cosmos' ideology of judging the coordinators and separating them from the world. Next up are the twin 52mm hyperbole shield cannons. This weapon remains a bit of a mystery in certain scenes in the anime. It is shown as a beam weapon, and the Norionen describes it as such. Let's take a look at its battle with the Justice Gundam during the liberation of the orb. After Raider aims its twin cannon at Justice, we see a green beam being fired. At this point, the Calamity Gundam is fighting elsewhere, so it's clear that Raider is the one firing the beam. The official website also describes it as a twin beam cannon. However, in many battle scenes, it is shown as firing metal bullets, and in many sources and games, it is shown as a projectile firing weapon. It can also be interpreted that they choose to equip themselves with either beam weapons or metal bullets before setting out on the mission, depending on the operation. This weapon is mounted on the right palm in combination with a shield. The shield provides exceptional defense and is shown in scenes blocking the Lakata beam saber of the Justice Gundam. The Lakata beam saber is more powerful than the beam sabers of the G8TX series, so this is an impressive defense. In mobile armor form, the twin cannon is positioned to fire in the direction of travel. Next up is the 100mm energy cannon called Zorn, which means fury in German. Director Mitsuo Fukuda requested a weapon that would reinforce Raider's villainous image, which led to the creation of this cannon. It inherits the technology from the dual-phase energy cannon of the Aegis Gundam. Although its caliber is small, most mobile suits are destroyed when hit at close range. Since it's mounted on the Raider's head, it can be used freely even if both arms are occupied with other weapons. Also, since the head is exposed in mobile armor form, the cannon can still be fired in that mode. Finally, there's the hammer weapon Mjolnir, named after the hammer wielded by the Norse god Thor. It's a wire-connected hammer with large spikes and thrusters. The main use of Mjolnir is to throw it with the arm. After being thrown, the thrusters can be used to change its trajectory. There's a scene in the anime where the hammer's trajectory is changed sideways, surprising a friend. The hammer is made of a high-density, highly compressed material, giving it considerable weight. Even when hitting phase-shift armor, it can cause damage to internal components and the pilot. The wire is coated with an anti-radiation coating, allowing the hammer to be spun at high speeds and used as a barrier. However, it's likely that the hammer itself is not beam coated, as it was destroyed by the beam saber of the Justice Gundam in the anime. The Raider Gundam made its impressive debut during the Orb Liberation campaign, a military operation by the Earth Alliance to force Orb into submission. In the remastered version, there's an additional scene showing Shin Asuka and his family being evacuated. As the Raider Gundam and the Calamity Gundam pass by, Shin and his family crouch down and try to protect each other. What might have happened if the Raider Gundam hadn't passed so close? Shin briefly leaves his family to retrieve the mobile phone his sister Mayu had dropped. It was only a matter of seconds, but those few seconds decided the fate of his family. The gust of wind created by the Raider Gundam was the pivotal moment that changed the fate of the Asuka family and influenced countless future events. In the following scene, the Raider Gundam launches an attack on the Archangel. It dives from above into the blind spot of the Gottfried beam cannons and aims directly at the ship. Although the boosted men such as Clodo were rudimentary and unstable, they unleashed the enemy's anti-air capabilities and exploited its weaknesses, using the strengths of their mobile suits to maximum effect. This eerie mix of lost humanity and highly irrational battlefield tactics underscores their disturbing nature. The Raider Gundam dodges the Archangel's anti-air fire and quickly reaches the command center, perfectly demonstrating its design philosophy of quickly breaking through enemy lines to deliver critical strikes. However, this attack is intercepted by the Freedom Gundam. Later, Raider teams up with Calamity Gundam and Forbidden Gundam to take on Freedom. There are moments when their actions interfere with each other, but there's also a scene where, thanks to Calamity's fire limiting Freedom's movement, Raider lands a direct hit with his hammer. These scenes show both the uncontrollable, erratic behavior of the pilots and their rational combat strategies. Kira is gradually backed into a corner by the Raiders' erratic and unpredictable attacks. Let's also take a look at how the Raider Gundam leaves the story. Interestingly, the TV anime version and the special edition portray its defeat differently, and fans have different preferences as to which they like better. In the TV anime, Raider is defeated by Duro Gundam. During the battle, Duro is equipped with the weapons of the Buster Gundam, and Raider is eventually destroyed. During this time, Clodo suffers from withdrawal symptoms and becomes delirious. Unaware that his mothership, the Dominion, has been sunk, he is lost and wanders around in search of a ship to return to. Just before attacking the Duro Gundam, Clodo's words are cut off in mid-sentence. I am. What Clodo was trying to say has been the subject of much fun debate. One interpretation that resonated with me is I never wanted to fight in this war. What do you think Clodo was trying to say? That's up to the individual interpretations of the fans. On the other hand, in the special edition, the Raider is defeated by the Buster Gundam. There is no protracted battle. Instead, Raider is defeated in a single swift throw. Although Raider is defeated quite easily, it could be interpreted as a demonstration of how skilled the pilot Darker has become. Personally, I also like the idea that Raider, after causing so much trouble for Kira and Athran, is so quickly taken out by Buster. Did I manage to convey the appeal of the Raider Gundam? It's actually a mobile suit with some fascinating technical connections to other Gundams. In the story of Seed Eclipse, there's a Gundam known as the Boost Raider Gundam. Surprisingly, the technology developed in the creation of the Boost Raider Gundam was later collected and used in the design of the Destroy Gundam. Incidentally, there's been some discussion among Japanese fans as to whether Clodo and the other boosted men would have a significant advantage over the Black Knight Squad, the antagonists in Seed Freedom. First of all, there's the fact that the boosted men were able to fight on equal terms with the Freedom and Justice Gundams, even though the Calamity, Raider and Forbidden Gundams were technically inferior. That's incredible piloting skill. Second, the boosted men have lost almost all of their human thoughts and emotions. Their codes have the ability to read human minds. However, the boosted men have lost the human-like thoughts that their enemies can read. If the Black Knight Squad were to peer into the darkness of their minds, they might see something even more terrifying than what Shin Asuka encountered. Kidnapping orphans, brainwashing them, altering their bodies, and subjecting them to heavy drug use. What the Black Knight Squad would see is the unfathomable darkness that humanity has accumulated and refined throughout history. Could the minds of the Black Knight Squad cope with the terrible deeds of the Blue Cosmos unfolding before them? The fact that the Raider Gundam is equipped with many non-beam weapons could also work in its favor against the femtotech armor. Wouldn't you love to see a scene in which Erika's cement overly modified and the enhanced Aegis Raider Gundam completely wipes out the Black Knight squad? Thank you for watching until the end. Stay tuned for the next mobile suit analysis.